Do you want to get outside more, travel, maybe have an adventure, or be a full-time nomad, but you're worried about all of the hassle and expense of traditional RV life? Then let me take you with me on an epic camper van adventure. I'm going to show you how sweet van life can be. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's Robin with CreativityRV. I hope you're all doing well out there. Welcome to the first video of my 2025 season. I am psyched to take you guys with me today while I camp in the snow and boondock and see some amazing places, all in this all-wheel drive, high-top Ford Transit van, thanks to my friends at WAYFARER Vans who loaned me this rig just for this trip. If you follow my channel, you know that I've been a full-time solo female RVer for almost 8 years. Can you believe it? Over time, I've had 5 rigs and I've had every kind of configuration you can imagine. Go back in my playlist to see more. But I've learned that the more hassle and the more expense you have, the less time you're actually outside enjoying your travels. Last year, I was able to camp in a van for the first time, also thanks to Wayfarer, when they loaned me one of their ProMaster builds to go to MOAB, and it was just a game changer for me. Wayfarer works with both the ProMaster and the Transit in different heights and lengths, and you choose the layout, and then your build is as low as $22,000. If you want it totally decked out, it only goes up to about $50,000. They can do this because they make all the components in advance in their factory, and then your van goes into their van nursery to be built out in just 2 or 3 days. And if you want to finance the build into your car payment, they can help you with that, and they ship across the country. I found that a high quality, simple build like the Wayfarer met my needs. I didn't have to worry about the plumbing and the electrical and leveling jacks. It absolutely changed the way I felt about my nomadic life. I thought I was sold then, but I have a lot of friends that have transit vans and they swear by them. So when Wayfarer offered me the chance to take this all-wheel drive high top on a camping trip, I jumped at it. So the first thing I did was go to the Wayfarer shop in Colorado to pick up the van. As always, the people there are so rad, and they walked me through the van, showed me how the power worked and the furnace and where the toilet was and the sweet new air conditioning unit that you can get on these vans, which is unheard of. And then my friend and I were off to go camping. It was that easy. The first place we went was Clear Creek in Colorado. Now, it's winter, so nobody else was there. We went down a dirt road and into some snow and were able to camp right on the river. It was one of the most beautiful, serene places I've ever been. I peeled right through the snow, no problem, and then we both backed up right on the river where we saw a beaver that swam around right behind our campsite. It was getting cold, so we had a fire for a while, then went to our separate rigs, but it was no big deal because this transit van has a furnace in it. So I was nice and warm all night long, and then in the morning, we headed off for another adventure. We were headed to the Great Sand Dunes National Park, but I had to leave Paul for a day to head up to one of my favorite camping spots, which is the Shivano Wilderness area in Poncha Springs. You guys have seen me do videos there before. It's absolutely gorgeous, but the road up is heinous. And I took some past RVs up there that I had no business taking up this road. But when I knew I had the all-wheel drive transit van, I had to try it. And it went up this road like no problem. That was rutted out and icy, and I camped for a night. And then when I came back down, one of the first things I realized was on a narrow road like this, it is really nice to be able to back up into a spot and let somebody else get by. Then I headed off for my next spot, which was the Great Sand Dunes Recreation Area, because my friends knew of this hidden, amazing hot springs called the Greenhouse. Well, this area is super windy. It took me about an hour and a half to get down to the recreation area, and I was being hit on the side by really high winds, but I could barely even feel it in the transit, which was a gift compared to some of the past rigs that I've had. The Great Sand Dunes Recreation Area and the greenhouse that's in it are attached to a campground, but we didn't even have to worry about getting reservations like all the big RVs near us. We were able to actually camp in a tent spot, and not only that, they let us share one tent spot, which we were able to get both vans into for only $10 a night. And then we went into the greenhouse. If you guys are ever in this area, this is a must see. I've gone by this so many times and had no idea. And I tell you, I will never go back to this area again without spending like half a day at this place. The greenhouse is a massive covered hot spring for adults only that has like 6 or 8 pools with different temperatures and waterfalls and tropical plants, and there's a bar and a restaurant and seating areas, and I could have stayed there all day long. But bright and early the next morning, we were headed for the Great Sand Dunes National Park. We had no problem in our 2 vans getting a parking space at the visitor center, where I got my stamp, and then my first look at the sand dunes. It's hard to describe the beauty of this area, and it's hard to wrap your mind around. You're surrounded by these beautiful snow-capped mountains, and then there's a giant sand dune that is created by the high winds and water that is there part of the year. Well, we walked into the dunes and got our feet in the sand, and it was absolutely beautiful. But then we wanted to go check out some of the back areas of the park, which are only accessible with 4-wheel drive vehicles. My friends in the ProMaster have decided to stay in the dune parking lot because we're going to a place that requires 4-wheel drive. That's where a 4-wheel drive camper van comes in really handy. We all piled into the transit, and I took us up some back roads where we really got to experience the beauty of the park. I could not have done this in any other rig that I've been in except for this transit. The roads were really awful, but it was kind of fun to just go up and down and through the puddles and the ice holes and the ruts and see everything with nobody else around. It's like in an RV, you have to worry about the hookup and the dump and the power and where you're going to park. I saw several parking lots in the Great Sand Dunes and in other national parks where no RVs are allowed. So you have to park so far away, and if you have a car, you're lucky enough to go and see things. That is not what it's like in a van. It is so easy. We really had no problem setting up camp and breaking camp and going to see other areas. After a full day at the sand dunes, we were all starving, and my friends remembered seeing what they thought was a dive bar back in the direction we were headed that said they had prime rib. Well, we pull up to this place, and they didn't. That was only on Thursdays. But I want to tell you about this place. It's called Grandma's House, and it's near the Great Sand Dunes. I will not go down this street again without stopping. This was some of the best food I've ever had. They've owned this restaurant for 5 generations, and they have a bakery that is sold out. And you know what's so great about van life? We didn't even think about where we were going to stop that night and camp until our dinner was over and the sun was going down. So I jumped on my phone and found a great BLM boondocking spot about 30 minutes away right off the highway. So as the sun was setting, we got to see the amazing view of the mountains and pull into this spot, turn on our furnaces, and have a great night's sleep. It was that easy. Well, we made it. This has been an epic few days, and now we're settled in for our final night. It's been great traveling in this van. So you can see I'm sitting in the van and I'm a little bit sad because I have to return it tomorrow. And I love this van. Again, if you want to check out Wayfarer, their link is below. look at their website, give them a call. They're amazing people. There's a bunch of different configurations that you can choose from. And spoiler alert, they've got some new floor plans coming in the summer. So talk to one of their journey architects about that. Thank you, Wayfarer, for letting me borrow this amazing van. I had a blast. And thank you to Paul and Kathy for coming with me on this adventure. I'll see you guys next Sunday with an all-new video. There will be a video every Sunday for the next 6 months. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And then hit the little bell to get notifications. I'll see you next week. Until then, everybody out there, have happy travels and be free.